Siddaramaiah would not want to take on a national role at this stage.
Why do you feel that Siddaramaiah will not take a national role? Why?
He wants to resign his post faster than the Congress High Command had expected him to.
Nitish Kumar, who essentially transitioned into a nobody inside the parliament, without much of a voice, without much of a presence, it won't be the same in this case.
A letter saying that more than 100 MLAs of the Congress party are currently supporting me was actually shown to the national leadership.
You have multiple ways, for Mr. Siddaramaiah to make life miserable for Mr. Shivakumar, just the way it's been for the last 3 years for Mr. Siddaramaiah himself.
Hello and welcome. You're watching me, Sanket Upadhyay, on The Federal. The show is called AI with Sanket. This is the AI of news because news in India today requires not artificial but analytical intelligence. Will a change of guard now happen in Karnataka? Will the Chief Minister of Karnataka, Siddaramaiah, give way for his deputy, DK Shivakumar? We know that there was a conversation which was on since 2023 that there will be a power sharing formula where Siddaramaiah will have a shot first, and then for the remainder of the period, for about 2.5 years, Mr. DK Shivakumar will be at the helm. 3 years have already gone, 2 more years of the Congress government left. There is now fresh talk of Siddaramaiah shifting to the center, occupying a position in Rajya Sabha, and then DK Shivakumar taking his place in Karnataka. But is it going to be as simple as this? Will Siddaramaiah agree? In chaos, will there be a chance of an Operation Kamal? And if not that, will this be a tumultuous ride for DK Shivakumar when Siddaramaiah indeed is forced to step down and move to the center? What exactly will happen in Karnataka? Lots of speculation, lots of conversation, and lots of analysis. We get you the best of the best right here on this program. All right, joining us right now is Mr. Sandeep Shastri, is an election analyst. Chandan Gowda is a political analyst, and Puneet Yadav is the political editor of The Federal. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Important issue that we are discussing, that is this manual transmission in the day and age of automatic transmission. Is this manual transmission in Karnataka going to be smooth, or will it be a bumpy ride? And could it reach a situation where a car stalls and stops? I want to ask, to begin with, Mr. Sandeep Shastri, what is your opinion? Do you think that this, number one, comes in a little late in the day? And even now, it seems to be in the form of a proposal to Siddaramaiah, that you come in the center, take about a week to decide, and then let DK Shivakumar handle.
Sanket ji, 2 factors here. I think this has been on the cards for quite some time, and the Congress High Command has postponed it to the extent it can. On your second point, I think given the experience in Rajasthan, given the experience in Chhattisgarh, the High Command has realized that it's important that the incumbent is taken fully into confidence before any shift is done. So I think this slow process is a byproduct of wanting to get Siddaramaiah fully on board before any change happens and get him to propose the change that is happening. Now, to Sanket ji, add to your first comment about how is this change manufactured. In the day of AI, I think we are so used to automation that we forget the human interface factor. And I think Karnataka shows you how the human interface factor is as important as any digital or automatic factor.
Yeah, that is true. But my analogy was more with reference to, automobile gear shifting. So the automatic gear shift is smooth. This is very much manual. This is fraught with its bumps and rides and jerks, Mr. Puneet Yadav. And we have seen a history in the Congress party of not managing or steering change very smoothly. Rajasthan, Himachal, Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, you name a state, there is a leadership crisis in the Congress party. In fact, very recently concluded Kerala also, the Congress took its own sweet time to announce its chief ministerial candidate. However, at least till now, things appear smooth. Do you think that in Karnataka, Mr. Siddaramaiah will be convinced and he will let it go and DK Shivakumar will have a peaceful 2 years? Or picture abhi baki hai?
Well, I think, Sanket, there's no point second guessing how Mr. Siddaramaiah is going to, whether he'll allow Mr. Shivakumar to continue smoothly, whether he'll create problems. But given the situation in Karnataka, I think one of the first things to look out for would be, what are the signals that come from the cabinet reshuffle? What I'm given to understand is that it won't just be, the regular tinkering of cabinet, a few ministers inducted, a few allowed to go. They'll have a more extensive exercise with the reshuffle. Now, that should be able to give some signal on how Mr. Shivakumar moves forward for the next 2 years that remain of this term of the Congress government in Karnataka. There are a few things that people close to Mr. Siddaramaiah say are, in a sense, absolutely non-negotiable for Mr. Siddaramaiah. Among those are safeguarding the interests of what in Karnataka is popularly called the Ahinda social coalition, the minorities, the backwards and the Dalits, which Mr. Siddaramaiah is the tallest political leader of, for that group. Now, what kind of a representation does that bloc get in the new cabinet? Secondly, what happens to Mr. Siddaramaiah's own political interest? There is, of course, talk of him being offered a Rajya Sabha, berth. There are 3 seats from of Rajya Sabha that the Congress can win easily in Karnataka out of the
Leader
4
of
that
opposition
go to
position also in Rajya Sabha.
That I'm not very sure. See, a lot of this is speculation. Sanket, the thing is, there's a lot of kite flying also that happens, as you know, because, the meetings that took place yesterday were not the kind where, you had several people involved in the discussion. Mr. Rahul Gandhi's discussion with Mr. Siddaramaiah was a one-on-one discussion for almost 45 minutes. Now, what transpired there, Mr. Siddaramaiah hasn't come and, given any kind of an official thing. Mr. Rahul Gandhi certainly isn't speaking to the media about it. So what are the assurances that have been given? It's, information that is twice removed from the primary source. Perhaps what Mr. Siddaramaiah has gone and told his loyalists, because yesterday after the meeting, he did meet, this whole retinue of ministers that he had brought with him to Delhi, Mr. KJ George, Mr. Madhevappa, Bharati Suresh, all of them. So, it is from these sides or, the others who may have heard from Siddaramaiah or heard from Shivakumar and then added their own aspirations to it, that we're hearing whatever we are hearing. Now, but certainly a Rajya Sabha berth is something that seems to have been offered. Whether an LOP elevation too comes part of the deal, I'm not very sure, because then what happens to Mr. Kharge? From what I understand, Mr. Kharge is certainly not going to Karnataka as chief minister. So, if he continues as Congress president, his term as Congress president, of course, ends next year. Now, unless he's going to stay on beyond that, can you expect him to just be another regular MP in the House after having been Congress president or while being Congress president? So those are questions.
Yeah,
that,
lots of
we
Lots
still
of
need
questions.
clarity
I'm
on it.
just going to come back to you, Puneet. You make, Puneet, very, very cogent points. But Chandan Gowda, do you think that the Congress party is borrowing a leaf from the BJP's book? This will, if it happens, will be the second chief minister, sitting chief minister of a state who will be going to the Rajya Sabha, making way for a deputy or a junior resource. Number one, that was executed in the NDA in Bihar. Nitish Kumar shifted to the center, to Rajya Sabha, and a BJP chief minister installed. And if it happens in Karnataka, you will have a Congress chief minister coming to the Rajya Sabha with a Congress chief minister installed. And we know how the dynamics are. They do hold hands and pretend to be nice and close to each other, but we know how daggers are drawn in Karnataka, especially for the past 6 or 8 months. Your reading?
No, Sanket, on a superficial surface level, it does seem like that, like the Nitish Kumar's, being given a Rajya Sabha seat, but it's going to be very different in this case if Siddaramaiah were to accept it. Some actually think that he may evolve as an important national presence, an OBC voice within the Congress. Karge stands for the Dalit voice, and Siddaramaiah could emerge as an important, because he's still energetic, and even as a chief minister, he was responding to Narendra Modi and others as if he was a national level leader. He had that, political kind of persona about him. So it won't seem like, someone who will be out of place in the national arena. I think he will, he may not know Hindi, but his English is, good enough for him to be articulate in the Rajya Sabha. Whether he'll be made the leader of opposition or not, I'm not sure, but it's possible since Karge is quite old. They may want a change of face to see a new dynamism, the OBC presence there. I don't know, Sanket, but I'm saying, unlike Nitish Kumar, who essentially transitioned into a nobody inside the parliament, without much of a voice, without much of a presence, it won't be the same in this case. And I hope Siddaramaiah accepts it. We hear he's declined it, but I hope he accepts it, because I think he may still have a couple of years or more of active political contributions to make. And we never know. He may evolve as this completely new person at the center.
Mr. Shastri, just quickly coming to you, why is it that in the Congress, many state stalwarts find it very difficult to shift to a central role? I would like to draw your attention to Mr. Ashok Gehlot. If you recall, he was the first choice of the central leadership in the Congress to become the Congress president, with Shashi Tharoor in contention from, reflecting some internal democracy. He led, as many would choose us to believe, a rebellion within the Congress, where MLAs openly said that we will resign if you do this. And then he said that, I bow my head in shame that I could not fulfill the wish of the party high command and I must listen to my MLAs. Why is it that it is so difficult in the Congress to get people to assume a centrally powerful role?
An immediate response to that is the trend you are talking about is something you see post 2014, because the party is not in power at the center. And what do you give somebody who has been in power in a state at the center? At best, you can give him or her a senior party position, which is not it is not the same as having a position in the government. So for me, why is it that Congress leaders at the state level are a little diffident to play a role in national politics in the current moment? It's because the party is not in power at the national level, and any role at the center basically involves a role in the party. And this is the reason also possibly somebody like Mr. Venugopal would have preferred to go as chief minister of a state rather than remain in such as people perceive, an important position within the Congress at the national level. So I think this factor has to be taken into account. The same to a certain extent is also true of the BJP, where If you look at Manohar Parrikar, his preference to come back as the chief minister of Goa rather than being the defense minister of India. So I think the dynamics which are in play when a state level leader is asked to move to a national position, if it is exclusively within a party because the party is not the ruling party, there is this diffidence that is expressed. And that is what in the Rajasthan example that you mentioned. To add another point to elaborate on the point which Chandan made, I would personally believe that Siddaramaiah would not want to take on a national role at this stage. He has been consistently maintaining that he would prefer to remain in Karnataka. And I see no development which would get him to change that perspective. My final point, Sanket, I think if you look at the way chief minister choice happened in Kerala or this development, you are seeing a different way in which the Congress High Command is trying to work. And let's also remember the delay in Kerala was much less than the delay in many other states where other parties have been in power. Other parties have sometimes taken much longer time to decide on their chief minister than what the UDF took in the case of Kerala.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, there are many instances of massive victory and then you not being sure, and it's not exclusive to the UDF or to the Congress. But Mr. Sandeep Shastri, before I ask someone else, just want to know from you, why do you feel that Siddaramaiah will not take a national role? Why? Because you see, within the state, we know ever since the Congress party won, there was this conversation of a rotational chief minister of 2.5 years. We are already 6 months past. And we know how DK Shivakumar is absolutely restless. I know of a lot of people who have been hired to do his batting in Delhi.
Now, why I make this point is Siddaramaiah's entire political career has been at the state level. He has largely been at the state level politics. He did contest a Lok Sabha election, which he did not win, but he has otherwise largely been at state level politics. There is one more factor which is important, especially when you talk of politics from politicians from the southern part of the country. Playing a role in national level politics would require an element of fluency in Hindi or excellent capacity to be able to speak in English. And in Siddaramaiah's case, his fluency is essentially in Kannada, though of course he's also able to speak in quite an articulate way in English, but Hindi is not his strength. So he would see the fact that at national politics, if you will recall when Deve Gowda was selected as the leader for the United Front, a question a reporter immediately whispered was, can he speak in Hindi? So we in the South have often seen this factor as being an important qualification laid down to be able to take on a big national position.
That's not always the case, because even Mr. K.C. Venugopal is no Vinod Kumar Shukla, you know. I mean, he is not very proficient with Hindi, and yet he occupies a very, very important role.
No, but there are a number of if you're looking at a prominent national role, I think felicity in the national languages would be very important.
Fair enough. For a language which is understood by 40% of the country and for you to not be fluent in it may be a hindrance. But I don't think that is the consideration. Mr. Chandan Gowda, language is the least of Mr. Siddaramaiah's concern right now. It's the shot at power which he does not want to give up. Will that not be a correct assessment? And just my follow-up question, do you feel in that regard it will be a very, very difficult ride for the Congress to execute this change?
Sanket, very quickly, in addition to the language thing, the language is not just the Hindi language, it's the language of Delhi, understanding how a certain kind of political universe works. It's not easy, right? You have to figure out the power corridors, etc., about how to get in. And then it takes time, and you may not have the patience to, learn the whole game at this stage. It's possible. But as far as state politics is concerned, my sense is Siddaramaiah and his followers wouldn't be completely taken aback by what is happening. The power sharing had to happen. I feel Siddaramaiah is not in a position to lead the party in the elections next time around. And it will be odd for DK Shivakumar to wait till he completes his 5 years and then say, now, spearhead the election campaign. That's not going to happen. And, since both of them were responsible for the electoral victory in the last assembly elections, whether there was a contract or not, many believe there is one. I think the power sharing thing was understood, and Siddaramaiah got more than his share of half time. He completed 3 years, and he's now the longest serving CM in the state. We know these things. He also presented the budget, which is, again, no one has presented that many budgets. So I think there is no sense of deep disbelief. There may be disappointment at having not been cut short, but I don't think there's a shock of having been abruptly halted because of all these things that I mentioned. Please remember the last 2 years, despite all the schemes and etc. that they're rolling out, the public attention is focused on this power sharing thing, and it's just you just can't allow this to continue. It had to be resolved, and I don't know how else it could be resolved.
No, but it's still not resolved. Puneet Yadav, I want to come to you now.
Sorry, Sanket.
Yes, sorry.
So I think getting Siddaramaiah off the CM-ship is part of a larger calculation, should be part of a larger, smooth way of rearranging the new power configuration. It can't seem like a loss of face. So his loyal supporters and his they have to be accommodated in the new regime, and I'm sure DK Shivakumar will be willing to go some extent. Although the rumors about having 4 deputy CMs to rein him in, etc., I can't imagine him going along with that arrangement. But who will be the KPCC president? Who will be the deputy CM?
The point, let's start with the first things first. Does he want to give up this position, or will he be? He's being asked to give up the position of the chief minister. Number one, is he ready for that? If he's ready, then come the terms and conditions. So I don't think he's ready to do that, no?
No, I mean, if you saw him talk this morning about Nehru's death anniversary, he was not the most cheerful person there, but I didn't see any, spirited, sort of defiant, that I will never give up my power until the term is over. That sort of a thing I didn't see. I have a feeling, things are now headed towards a shift. Yes, I think so too. I don't know.
Okay, Puneet Yadav, just quickly coming back to you. If, let's say, we assume that Mr. Siddaramaiah is now bargaining for what he gets next from his party, if not the position of the chief minister, then what? Do you feel that this negotiation will be protracted in nature? Will there be procrastination done by both the party and Siddaramaiah, or will it be a smooth affair? And if it is long, if it is stretched, we know how ugly things become. For instance, in Punjab, where a Captain Amrinder Singh just simply refused to go, and then he was thrown out. And then another chief minister was installed for about 6 odd months.
Well, I think, Sanket, there are 2 aspects to what you're asking. One is whether Mr. Siddaramaiah himself, would want to drag out this whole issue of resigning, stepping down and all that. As far as, I'm given to understand because of, having spoken to some of the people he met last evening. In fact, he wants to resign his post faster than the Congress High Command had expected him to. From what I'm given to understand, the Congress High Command had told him that, you take a week, take 10 days to think. We have time to announce the Rajya Sabha candidates. We have a few days for that. And, you you give it a thought whether you want to take the Rajya Sabha route, whether you want to stay put in Karnataka. If you do want to stay put in Karnataka, what is the role you envisage for yourself there? The only thing that he was not given a say on was in picking the next chief minister. That was made very clear to him that while he will have a say in the blueprint for the new cabinet, he cannot dictate who the next CM is going to be. Because he was pushing that if not him, what I'm given to understand, he did mention that it should be someone from within the Ahinda fold, and the most likely candidate in that situation would have been Mr. Parameshwara, the current Home Minister, who's a Dalit. Now, so what he has subsequently done is, instead of waiting it out for the Congress to decide the Rajya Sabha candidates, I believe he told his comrades yesterday that he is going to step down within the next 48 hours. He's likely to have a cabinet meeting tomorrow, and then there may be a CLP meeting either tomorrow evening or the day after, where there'll of course be these flattering speeches about Mr. Siddaramaiah's leadership, and he might announce his decision. Now, that's the general timeline that he seems to have discussed with his loyalists last evening. There are, of course, some of them who have appealed to him to drag it out a little more so that he can kind of ensure that his loyalists are not sidelined along with him in the party and in the new government, the reshaped, reconfigured cabinet. So that is one part of it. The other part of it is, after he steps down, and if it is Mr. Shivakumar who's the new CM, the new cabinet formation, and then the KPCC president's post, all of the other things that have to then fall into place, whether that gets kind of dragged on, that is a bit uncertain right now, because who are the kind of people he wants, whether he is actually bargaining for more deputy chief ministers than the usual, whether Mr. Shivakumar is willing to have more than one deputy CMs or even one deputy CM, and then who those deputy CMs would be. If now, for instance, I'll give you one example that the Rajya Sabha elections in Karnataka are supposed to coincide with the elections for the Legislative Council. From what I'm given to understand, Mr. Siddaramaiah wants a certain change even in the Legislative Council, with Mr. DK Hariprasad taking over as the leader of the party in the Legislative Council there. Mr. Hariprasad's term in the Legislative Council is also ending. So he was open to either a Rajya Sabha or an MLC, whichever way thing came his way. But it seems Mr. Siddaramaiah has kind of been lobbying for him to stay on in the Legislative Council and become the leader of the party in the Legislative Council, a post that currently is held by somebody very close to Mr. Kharge. Okay, now, so those are the kind of bargaining things and all that you might see happening over the next few days. Not about Mr. Siddaramaiah per se stepping down, but what he gets for people who've stood by him, his loyalists, his supporters.
I think here inherently the difficulty becomes very high for the central leadership of the Congress party, Mr. Sandeep Shastri, because you see, Mr. DK Shivakumar is not going to sit and see all of this happening. That, okay, we'll adjust this, also have 4 deputy chief ministers. DK Shivakumar has been raring to go. He wants a shot at that power, and he will exert the maximum force that he can. So that dynamic will also be in the picture. And my final question before you start answering, sir, whenever there is uncertainty and confusion, that the risk of an operation Kamal is very high. It's waiting, ticking time bomb. Your views?
Given the numbers that the Congress enjoys in the Vidhan Sabha, Operation Kamal at this stage may be a little difficult to take forward. And I don't think that is something that they would be worried about at this stage, unless the inspiration for that Operation Kamal comes from a breakaway group within the Congress party, which a lot of people are talking about. That is that one form of rebellion that the current chief minister may think of. That also is being talked about by people. But then
really,
Yeah.
this is news to me, Mr. Shastri. Really,
No,
can you
I
please
mean,
elaborate?
I mean, this has been talked of for quite some time, and I'm sure Puneet ji would know this more. I believe in the meeting with Rahul Gandhi yesterday, a letter saying that more than 100 MLAs of the Congress party are currently supporting me was actually shown to the national leadership. So there is that saying that my support within the legislature party is quite significant. But then if Siddaramaiah decides that for his supporters, for his son, who is also looking at a important political position, to be able to take care of his supporters and his son, possibly the bargaining could be on important positions for all these people. And now coming to your first question, I think for DK Shivakumar, the aim is to get the chief ministership. I don't think he would be too much worried as to how many deputy chief ministers you have. You want to have more, go ahead and have as many as you want. As long as the chief ministership, which you had promised me, is mine, that is something that needs to be done. There is already talk of his agreeing to give up the party presidentship at the state level. So once the chief ministership is conceded, yes, there would be bargaining that DK Shivakumar will do with regard to accommodating his supporters in the cabinet. But I don't think he would have too much objection to a larger number of deputy chief ministers if the party leadership in Delhi so wants that to happen, as long as his chief ministership is something that is secured for him.
Very interesting. So let me have a shot at power, and then you can come up with whatever formation you want. Eventually, I will do what I have to. But I need to be the chief minister first. Mr. Chandan Gowda and Mr. Puneet Yadav, this last point is very, very interesting. How much do you think there is, Mr. Chandan Gowda, will begin with you, exists the possibility of Mr. Siddaramaiah deciding to take his MLAs to the BJP? Will it be sizable enough to break the legislature party and ensure a 2/3 split to avoid anti-defection? Is it possible?
It just seems like the probability seems low to me, considering just 2 years left, and I'm not sure how many of these MLAs will want to spend
2 years
another.
is a long time, sir. It's a long time. 24 months.
No. It's going to drag on. It's going to drag on, and the instability is, not always easy to handle. I mean, it's easy to manage. And I don't think Siddaramaiah will want to be held accountable for that kind of a maneuver at this stage of his life. I think an honorable exit is what he would want, I think, on his own terms. This is my reading. There was a lot of speculation, when the previous time around, many of the Congress, 15 of them quit the party, contested on a BJP ticket, brought down the government. And there was strong speculation that Siddaramaiah engineered that. And some even think it absolutely is the case. But will he try to do the same thing a second time around? I'm not sure. I think there's too much to lose by doing that than he stands to gain from it.
Mr. Yadav, your closing comments. Can Siddaramaiah, as a last-ditch blackmail/negotiation trick, tell the Congress leadership, listen, I'm taking my 2/3 MLAs and going to the BJP?
No, I completely agree with what Mr. Gowda was saying. That I don't see the possibility of that happening with the current in the current scenario and the current numbers. In the last time around, the 2018 scenario was also a slightly different scenario than what you have today. So, and yes, there was a lot of speculation on Mr. Siddaramaiah's role in that whole fiasco, of the fall of that government, which was then headed by Mr. Kumaraswamy. So that I don't think would be the modus operandi now. But yes, see, the issue of letting Mr. Shivakumar have a free pass at doing whatever he wants and however he wants it, I don't think that is something Mr. Siddaramaiah is going to allow. He may concede the chief minister's post to Mr. Shivakumar, whether he likes it or not. But I don't think Mr. Shivakumar is going to have a very pleasant and a very easy ride ahead of him, because you also have to look at the fact that the current chief ministerial tenure of Mr. Siddaramaiah has been very different from his previous one. He, throughout this tenure, even if we kind of assume that there was a two and a half pact of power sharing, right from the first year onwards, it hasn't been an easy ride for Mr. Siddaramaiah. And a large part of that was the factor behind that was Mr. Shivakumar and his, behind the scenes maneuvers. So what I think is likely to happen is Mr. Siddaramaiah repaying all those, for all those moments to, Mr. Shivakumar when he takes over. We've not really seen Mr. Siddaramaiah over the last 3 years as the man in charge who, everyone thought of him to be, from his previous stint. He's had a rather bumpy ride. And that, I think, is going to continue with Mr. Shivakumar, once the transition happens.
In effect, you're saying that it's quite possible that Mr. Siddaramaiah is going to make DK Shivakumar's life difficult.
See, I'll give you let me give you one example here.
You're being very polite about this, so I thought.
No, let me just see. One of the most tricky issues right now for the government, for the Karnataka government to handle, is the caste census report, which has been kind of gathering dust for a while. What I'm given to understand is that Mr. Siddaramaiah has asked for that, for the submission of that report to be fast-tracked. It's with the Backward Classes Commission at the moment. They have to, give their kind of final comments on it and then present it to the government. The government then has to take a call. You might see that getting fast-tracked over the next 48 hours. Once that report comes in, what to do with that? Because you see, caste census, again, a very, very important plank for Mr. Rahul Gandhi nationally. You're also easing out an OBC, the only OBC chief minister that you have right now among the four that you currently, that the party currently has. In that scenario, if that report comes in and then Mr. Shivakumar is not able to handle the fallout of it, that in itself is going to be a major problem for Mr. Shivakumar. So you have multiple ways, for Mr. Siddaramaiah to make life miserable for Mr. Shivakumar, just the way it's been for the last 3 years for Mr. Siddaramaiah himself.
Very, very interesting.
Even if Siddaramaiah wants the 100 MLAs to leave the party, I don't think all of them will want to leave the party. And I'm not even sure if BJP wants 100 Congress MLAs inside it. It's just too complex. I just wanted to just add this part to what is being discussed.
I thought we moved past it. We are talking about Mr. Siddaramaiah going nowhere and just making life miserable for DK Shivakumar inside the Congress. That's the point that Mr. Yadav started making. And I think there is no dispute. Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you.